Thank you.
Yeah.
Ditto. Okay. Thank you. Yes, we're always interested in that, but Crystal brings part of our discussions to light is that we want to hear everybody in the district and what people like about the district, what people don't like. It's like any other job out there, okay? If you're not actively surveying your employees as to what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, your turnover rate's going to be on the moon, okay? I work in an industry where some companies have 100+% annual turnover rate, okay? So personally, in my public or my private career, I'm very tuned into finding out what is working, what's not working, what we need to change, what we need to enhance, and we try to do that in the district as well, okay? It's very important to us that we have the pulse of the staff only because, again, we're in charge of making policy, okay? And it's not I do this, I do that. There are 7 of us on the board, okay? Come from very diverse backgrounds, very diverse educations, very diverse roles in the private and public sector, all kinds of stuff, okay? So it's a good spray of talent and experience that we use, that we have right now in this district to help shape what we're going to do as far as policymakers go, okay? And is that information important to us? Of course it is. If I would answer that it's not, then I would be a fool, okay? So yes, it's definitely important to us. Thank you.
Well, I'm not on the board, so I can't say for sure, but obviously from what they both said, they're not getting the data. But again, and as Scott said, you know, working in an HR field, and whether it's, you know, a service industry or a manufacturing industry or any industry, you should be conducting your exit interviews, and then you should be providing that information and talking to it as a management group and looking for the red flags. What are the things that are showing up on a consistent basis, and then addressing those things. And so that would be something that I think would be very helpful to the board, especially when it comes to, you know, times when they're reviewing policies and things like that, is to say, okay, this is something we've seen a number of times. Let's address it. Let's do something about it and make sure that we can get that off of this list going forward.
Okay, next question, Scott is first. Our district is struggling with a number of challenges, but the parent that submitted this question believes that the most urgent issue involves brain drain, not only due to above average turnover among talented personnel who cite an unpleasant, unsupportive environment, but also a shocking number of Cudahy students and families who have left through open enrollment or relocation for the sole purpose of withdrawing from the Cudahy School District. It is the best and brightest who are leaving in droves. Good families who have been active members of their school community, good students who earn above average grades and whose behavior meets or exceeds expectations in the classroom, good teachers who have built a reputation in our district as some of the most dedicated and most innovative and most successful. Are you aware that this problem exists? And if so, what steps can the Board of Education do to address the issue of brain drain?
Just me. Once again, it comes down to money, okay? I mean, in the private sector, in this role, very seldom do you have people that come to you and say, I'm leaving the company because I can wear Bermuda shorts at company B and they all dye their hair blonde, but they're going to pay me $10,000 less every year. I mean, it just doesn't happen, okay? I'm sorry, I wish I could, you know, I had a different answer, but...
That's why students are leaving? The question is, why are students leaving?
Yeah, I heard the questions.
Okay.
Students leave for a number of reasons. I can't speak to that because they don't check with me before they leave, okay? So some leave because we don't have a program that their child is interested in. Yes, we lose students to MPS on a regular basis. And those numbers fluctuate. Some years we take more students in than we send out. Other years, it's the opposite. It all depends on the student and the family and what they're looking for in the education of their child, okay? That's, I mean, if they care that much about it that they need to move out of the city, I'm happy with that. That's great, because that shows those parents care, okay? And if I can't afford to put a teacher in the classroom that's going to satisfy the needs of that particular student, we do the best we can, okay? You have to understand that the state has control over both the aid that they provide to school districts and the level of property taxation that we can levy, okay? We're not in charge of that. But we have to live, again, we have to live within those confines.
Right, so brain drain being the young brains that we're losing,
Yes.
I'm assuming. And that is disheartening. People that I've talked to who have told me that they are open enrolling their students outside of the district just so they can avoid sending them to the middle school. That was disturbing. There's an issue at the middle school that needs to be addressed, and I don't think it's been addressed. I don't know for sure all the details. It hasn't affected my son directly, so I don't get a lot of inside information that way. Speaking to parents, I've heard some different stories about what's going on, and I don't think it's being addressed, and it needs to. We need to keep those students here in the district. We want them to be in our district for a number of reasons. As Scott alluded to it, well, money, because if they're leaving the district, the money that should be coming here is going elsewhere, and it's just disruptive to the district as a whole. So I think we need to take a serious look at why they're leaving the community, and just like the exit interviews, check those red flags and get them fixed.
I know that was a long question, and I'm not going to make you repeat it, but I thought that part of that question did have to do with brain drain of teachers. So, Scott, just to address what you said, Bermuda shorts, oh my God, we would totally get so many teachers that would come to our district if we allowed Bermuda shorts and wear jeans. People literally pay money to wear jeans. And I think that speaks to professional autonomy. Like, if I can look schnazzy and professional in Bermuda shorts, like, why not? But anyway, it doesn't affect how I teach Spanish, I'm just telling you. Okay, so, like, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about where it's like, it's not just money, it's other things, it's your day-to-day life in the classroom. It's huge, 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 huge. And I feel like I talk about that, and I think maybe I just say it too much and it's like, it's all static. But I think that for students, I agree with Scott. That programming is huge. Like, I know at least personally of one student who wanted to go to High School of the Arts because he loves singing. And although we have a great choir program, he, I think, may have not been straight. And I think that there was something more than just getting to sing there, where he thought that he was going to be more accepted. I mean, there's environment factors, that we need to really protect our students that are different. We need to really make sure that it's a safe space for kids all the time. And I know that that can be really difficult when we have kids who come in with trauma and they act out with that. But there's research on that, and we're implementing some of that. And we're trying to stay on top of that, but it's not a fast process necessarily to change that culture and to address some of those really deep-seated issues. It takes time for those kids to kind of come out from that trauma. But, there's definitely ways to handle it to keep that learning environment, that integrity to that learning environment. And we are doing some I believe we're doing surveying of those families that are leaving to see why are you leaving. Because we want to keep kids that live in Cudahy coming to Cudahy schools, and we want to draw more people in, which is part of the reason that we're expanding the tech ed and we're doing the Fab Lab, and we're doing the remodeling to the, I want to call it FACE, but I feel like it has a different name, But to have exciting programming, that's important, you know, and that's gonna pull families in.
Okay, next question, Tina's first. Do you support term limits for school board positions, and why or why not?
Yes. Yes. Well, I think it's important to have students in the district so that you've got a vested interest in what's going on in the district. I don't think it should be my retirement career. I think that I can be effective in, you know, the two-year term or two two-year terms, and then pass the baton on to somebody else and let them bring some new ideas to the table. I don't think I need to be on the board forever.
You know, there's some surprising similarities between this question and the keeping, you know, the new teacher versus old teacher question. I don't know that term limits matter, honestly. I think that if the community is really involved and thinks that somebody is not doing their job on the board, they can just as easily not elect them. I think that's an easy way to do it. We need to have people who care about the district that are motivated to run. And I think that people that are on the board, whether you agree with all their decisions or not, I think that even Scott, who we've had issues in the past and we don't necessarily see eye to eye, I think he legitimately cares about the district, you know? And if you don't believe it, you should hear him talk about the music program. So I think that I've learned a lot from the people who've been on the board for a long time. They've kind of seen things come and go. And I think that experience is valuable, but I also think that it's up to the community when they see people who are a good fit for the board, that are motivated for the right reasons, to elect those people.
Okay. This is my second stint on the Cudahy School Board, okay? My first stint, I was one of what this question refers to, a parent who got involved because their children were in the school system, okay? So I've seen both sides of that issue. Do I think it's a requirement that you have children in the district to be a school board member? No, I do not, okay? Based on my own experience and experience I've seen from others, actually can become a detriment. Okay? When I served in my first term and both my kids were in the high school, that was my focus. My focus was, what's going on in the high school? What's happening there today? Why? Because that's all the information I heard. Now my kids are in their 40s. I came back to the board. Why? Because of money. Okay? I watched year after year as my tax bill kept climbing. Okay? Now, I don't know how closely you follow what we do as a board, but this board, for a community this size, is in better financial shape than half the districts in this state, okay? We have very little long-term debt, okay? We just got done passing a $7.9 million referendum to improve our buildings, okay? $7.9 million. And you know what the effect is on the taxpayer? Zip. Nothing. Okay? Your taxes will not increase because of that referendum. Why? QZAP funding, which is 0% funding from the government. Okay? We've used that several years. Okay? Donations from corporate sponsors. The Laddish Foundation gave us $1 million. Okay, to improve the tech ed wing at the high school. What a fabulous thing that's going to, wait till you see that. That'll blow your minds. I know I have to shut up, sorry.
Okay, Crystal's first on this one. Have you voted to renew and or extend the superintendent's contract, and why?
time to rehearse it. I am thinking really hard about that. I've been on the board for 3 years. And I am like 99.9% positive that he just had a contract for 5 years approved right before I came into office, like the meeting before. So unless I'm mistaken, am I mistaken? You're nodding.
I'm nodding too.
Okay.
That's okay.
Oh, wait, did we just do that for our administrator contracts at the last time?
Yes, but not his.
I don't remember his contract being on it.
2 years.
So I do not legitimately recall voting to extend it, but that is not to say that I did not. I just don't recall it, and I thought that he had a 5-year contract right before I was elected, but if I'm mistaken, I'm mistaken.